Well, first, I just want to let y'all know I'm honored to be here, and I'm motivated, because to be around such a good group of folks that are like-minded, it's inspiring. And especially in the state of California. I'm looking at one dangerous group right here. And Rick, I can't thank you enough for your dedication, your sacrifice, and what an incredible communicator and a man that lives his faith out in action. And I appreciate you, Rick. Well, let me introduce my dog real quick. How's that? All right, so this is Fifi. Let's try that again. This is Scout. Scout's a 6-year-old Belgian Malinois. She's a Tier 1 trained dog. She is best known for facing ISIS fighters. And then within a couple of hours, kids or women we had rescued, they were allowed to hold her and pet her for therapy. So I tell folks, she's a therapy dog that bites. And she gets a lot of attention anywhere we go. As a matter of fact, you know, with the change of our country of late, and I see a fair number of gray hairs out there. So we've seen some changes, hadn't we? Hadn't we? I served in the Marine Corps underneath, well, it's funny, people ask me, when did you serve? I said, under a gentleman named Ronald Reagan. And now that's a commander-in-chief right there. I don't know what we got in our White House right now, but he needs some help. Now, I'm a very direct person, so if I offend some of y'all, it's okay. My IQ is too low, my back too strong to give a care. But we were in an airport, and a gal and guy walked up to me, and the gal goes, "Hey, can I pet your dog?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I appreciate you asking because it says don't pet." But I said, "Yeah, go ahead." So she pet Scout, and then immediately after that, the fellow with her, he went to pet the dog, and I said, "Hey, I wouldn't." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Well, she's only trained to allow women and children to pet her, not guys." You know what his response was to me? This is not a joke. Out loud and proud, he said, "You have no right to judge my gender." I laughed. I was like, that's a good one. You know, I don't know all the newfangled talk, but that's a good joke right there. And he wasn't joking. He got louder. He said, "Who are you to judge my gender?" Now, we're in a national airport. Everybody started looking. When those cameras start coming out, you got to be aware. Them flip phones and all their little iPhones. And I said, "Hey, man, calm down. I ain't trying to offend you, but you're a dude." And again, he's like, "You have no right to." I said, "You got a scruffy beard, man. What are you? If you're gonna like cross-dress, you got to put some effort into it. I mean, come on now. Don't be afraid of a razor. And go get some heels on, dude. I mean, do it right. Don't half-step this." I'm from the generation where people knew. Not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. He didn't think it was funny. And finally, as things were kind of bubbling up, sometimes I'm slow in processing stuff, so I just go to what works. I said, "Hey, man, I tell you what, you go ahead and pet my dog. Let her decide if you're a man or a woman." Get up here. Come here, get up. Up. He opted not to pet her. Wiser decision. "Hey, could I let me get my girlfriend up here to take my dog." There you go. She doubles as my wife as well, 34 years. I have found that your wife and girlfriend being the same saves you money and protects your life. When people talk about me, I hope they always think about my bride, because anything I've been able to do, I do it better because of her. Period. Period. And then let me tell you what I mean. My first pump into Iraq, doing a high-risk humanitarian work, which is what we do primarily. We go after women and children that have been abducted or held captive or being sold into sex slave, and then we hunt pedophiles around the world and here in the U.S. We're very active and very busy. As a matter of fact, I just got back from Southeast Asia this week and responded to a girl who had been raped and stabbed and left on a doorstep, just bleeding out. We saved her life by putting her in a hospital. I got one other team member. It only took 2 of us to do the deal. Went down there and secured the capture of a guy who did it within 72 hours. And we got back here so we could visit with y'all. See, I believe there's power in when your faith is put into action. Doesn't matter what people say, it's what you do that qualifies you with me. We found out when COVID hit, we found out who had backbones. Now, I'm kind of like a preacher, not fully. I don't want to tarnish their image, but I'll tell you right now, when that happened and I saw guys that I respected fold under the pressure of a little bit of governmental deal telling who couldn't worship God and who could, that's when I got my attention. Now, don't get me wrong. I have my vaccination card, so I can travel internationally. I just don't have my vaccination. These are our kind of people, babe. I tell you, don't tell anybody. Let me tell you what my wife and I and our teams have been through. It gives us no pause to do what's right here in America. Without hesitation, we fear no one. We don't fear authorities. We do what's right. And I'll tell people this. When they're like, oh, I say, I'm not a nice person. And that is the truth. My wife will validate this. I'm not nice. Because nice people tend to do something in order to get something. And when they don't get it, they're not nice anymore. What I am is kind. I do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, period. Whether you do something for me or not, it doesn't matter. Regardless, I'm going to do the right thing because I have conviction and courage that I think comes from God to do the right thing. I was talking about courage. My wife, one of the first times I went to Iraq on a mission, I put together a pretty high-speed, low-drag team, some former special operations guys, some real manhunters, and our goal was to find some girls that had been held captive by ISIS and help bring trauma relief and make safe and mentally help. My wife, about 2 weeks out, said, I feel like I'm supposed to go with you. Wow. I said, no, you're not, woman. Well, she is, and I know the definition of a woman. It's a guy who gave me 5 children and has stayed married with me. And I said, why do you want to go? Because we were fussing a bit. She said, well, honey, you and the team will find those girls. I know you will. But when you find them, you can't hug them. But I can. And they'll need to be hugged. And I said, wow, are you willing to risk your life? I mean, for the sake of hugging girls? She said, what's the worst that can happen? We die? And I was like, yeah, we die. This is 2015. You're watching people getting their heads cut off on TV. And we're moving to the sound of that. We're going into the territory. She goes, well, if we die, don't we still win?
Come on.
See, this is the conviction of people of faith have about death and dying. We're all going to go. My deal is, what's it my concern the way he wants to bring me home or not? There, here, what, I don't care. But I will occupy and do the best I can while the time he's given me.